Welcome to the Windows and Computer channel, and I'll have a few videos this week about myth versus reality of different PCs and Windows myths, and kind of talk about it, the impressions versus the reality of each. In this video, we're going to talk about the stability of Windows 10, because one of the first things that we see, I see a lot of it, is everybody has the impression, a lot of people, not everybody, a lot of people have the impression Windows 10 isn't stable, that Windows 10 has tons of problems, and that we should stay away from it. A lot of people actually have not upgraded to Windows 10 thinking that they're just going to have problems. A lot of people also are under the impression that it's an unstable system and that they should move on to something else. And here's the reality of this, is that Windows 10 is as rock solid as Windows 7, first of all. And Windows 7 was far from being perfect. A lot of people are in the impression that Windows 7, was rock solid, and Windows 7 was good, absolutely. It was one of the most stable systems that Microsoft has built. Windows 10 is as rock solid as Windows 7. If you look at general statistics of, crashes and problems in Windows 10, I always say that the crashes and the problems, the majority of them are not Windows related. And that is still true. That always been the case, and it's still the case. And for a lot of people, the impression or the feeling is because, there's a lot of people talking about it. And there's a lot of people talking about Windows, obviously. A lot more people talking about Windows than people talking about Macs. And the stability of Windows 10 is really, really good. It's not perfect like every operating system, but it is not a problematic system. It is not a system that is plagued with, instabilities or blue screens or things like that. To give you an idea, I've never had a problem with Windows 10 stable versions. My Windows 10 stable versions pretty much always were rock solid. And it's still true, and I've had no issues. And the majority of people that are on Windows 10 have no issues at all. One of the things that probably brings along some of these myths of having an unstable system is that Windows 10 has a different way of being updated. It's called a servicing pipeline. So that means that basically it gets updates, all big updates, once or twice a year. That is where probably the problem lies, because when these updates arrive, we often have a rush of people complaining of problems at that moment. So people will take that as, oh wow, so every version of Windows 10 is plagued with issues. There has been some little things that Microsoft did wrong, and there are some things that Microsoft should have looked at more closely, and that absolutely. There were a few versions of Windows 10 that a subset of users had issues due to something that was reported already in the insider rings, which means that if they had seen it, they could have fixed it before the release. But one of the things you got to remember is that when your system is a system known to have some problem, what we call known issues, you're not getting the update. You're not seeing it. But honestly, with the statistics, and we're not talking about what, maybe you individually has suffered through some issues with Windows 10, it is totally possible. Because there are people that have problems. Like there were people that had problems in Windows 7. As a tech guy, I could tell you that I had my share of clients that, thought Windows 7 was crap because they never had problems with Windows XP, for example. Moved to Windows 7 and was problematic. It's the same thing with Windows 10, and it's more of an impression than the reality. And when you look at the general Windows 10 base of more than a billion PCs, the number of people having problems is very low compared to the number of people that are actually very happy and have a system that works fine. So we got to be careful with, what the impressions are in general, because the impressions are due to, I say it all the time, the people that have problems are the ones that are voicing their frustrations. People that have a good working Windows 10 don't say nothing. And if you look at the number of people that have problems, of course, it's a lot of people, because you have a lot of people will come back to me and say, well, have you seen the number of complaints? Well, do you understand that if 0.1% of more than a billion people have problems, it's millions of people, it's still extremely low rate of problems. But it's still a lot of people, because the install base is so huge. And that's where it all comes from. And it's difficult sometimes for people to see the good or the truth, in myths like this. Honestly, Windows 10 is a rock-solid operating system, and it actually works great. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching.